Hello everyone, this is Richard, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the basic principles of thumbnails on YouTube and teaching you how to create your own using a free popular program called Gimp, so you will not have to pay anything to do this. So let's get started. Okay everyone, so the first thing you would want to do is you would want to download Gimp 2.8, which is the latest version of Gimp. You can go to their website at gimp.org and just download it here. It'll ask you to select your operating system and you can download it. However, I have the latest version already, and it's right here. This might actually not be the latest version, but we're just going to launch it real quick. This is Gimp 2.8. They might have added a few things or changed a few things, like the later revisions. So I'm just going to move this down so I can get a better view. Unfortunately, in order to record this video in 720p, I wanted to adjust my desktop to 720p, and it's a little harder to work with because I'm not used to a lower resolution. So we're going to use 1280 by 720, which is considered HD, and is also a 16 by 9 aspect ratio, so it's considered widescreen. And so that's a general good size to aim for in thumbnails. So, because I'm going to make the thumbnail for this video, I just brought it over a little so I could grab these. I'm going to bring these images, which I just downloaded off Google Images just by searching YouTube logo and Gimp logo, and I'm going to bring them inside here. And then you'll see we have the Gimp image, and I'll also bring in the YouTube image while I'm at it. And the Gimp, for some reason, is black, so we'll add alpha channel because we want it to be able to transparent. And this one, I'll just say expand to, it should be layer to image size. Just make sure you do that. And what you're going to do is grab the YouTube one because it's on top of it and just bring it here. And then I can grab the Gimp one and bring it here. And if we zoom out, you can tell that looks pretty good. They're pretty much lined up. And again, you just might want to do layer to image size, layer to image size. And now, because you want one layer that represents the background, if you're making a series, the best idea is to grab one layer that represents your whole background. And this could be like, if you're doing a gaming series, this could be, say, a screenshot from the game of what happened in that episode. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit merge down, which merges these layers into all one. So now what you always want to do is you want to have your text layer be a separate layer from the rest. That way you can easily change your text without it getting blended in with the rest of the background. So you're just going to do a new text tool, click in here, same principles would apply in Photoshop. And generally if you want to get like your stuff centered, you can just pull it over on this side. And you want to choose a color for your text. I want to do gold because I think it'll have a well contrast with the red and the gray and the rest of it. So we'll grab this, and then you just type. Obviously it's hard. My keyboard is actually hidden under my desk, so I can't really see what I'm typing. And that's a little easier. And then we're going to say tutorial, and we're going to do like a dash, and we're going to say creating thumbnails. And obviously that's very, very small at the moment. So what you want to do then is click the text tool again, which will select your text. And over for justify, it's this one for center. And then we'll probably do a bold, sans bold, and just bring the font up. I would say probably it'll center it automatically and adjust it if it goes over one line, like now. So if you pull this away, this is probably a good size, 119. Obviously it would depend on how much space you had. If you were doing a gaming video and you wanted to have a lot of the screenshot visible, you'd probably do a smaller font. But remember, you can never have too big of a size font when you're doing a YouTube thumbnail, because when they're in YouTube, they're downsized significantly, and that basically means it's going to be a lot harder for someone to read. Whereas this is big enough that most people should be able to read it fairly easily. So what I like to do is have a shadow to my text, And so it's pretty easy to, say, create a duplicate layer. And this is the second one. This is identical because they're duplicates. So because this is the one that's going to have the shadow, I'm going to make it lower than this one. And we'll hide it so we can easily work and edit it. So when I mean a shadow, it's going to be a little off-centered behind it, and it's going to be a different color. Now I already have this color that's different and a little darker, but if you didn't have that already in your palette because you hadn't used it before, then you can simply use this current and old functionality to help you a lot. Basically, you can easily see what's dark and what's not, basically comparing your current to your old, and that's how it'll look when you have them as a shadow. So I'm just going to use this one anyway, but then we're going to click A, and we're going to grab that one. And now you see if I were to click away, because they're in the exact same spot, this one just covers it basically. So now we're going to adjust the location of it, and you want to pay attention to this corner here where it's going to say move. So you might want to watch this in 720p on full screen if you want to be able to see everything. But it says move, 0, or 0, 0. It has the 4-way arrows. So generally I like to pull it a little to this left side and a little up. And -4 obviously is it up, so it takes a while because it's at such a high resolution. You're going to want to play with this for a while. Or you might just want to zoom in, that'll make it a little easier. But that is an easy way to start. As you can see, this looks pretty good. I'm probably going to stick it at this, because leave it at this, because it's a pretty good shadow. So we have this, and the nicer, bigger shadow makes it more visible, so generally stay with that. Some characters do have a problem, like C's look a little odd with this, but that's just sometimes the issue. That isn't really able to be controlled with this. So if you want these lines to go away, they're not really there. That's just symbolizing where the layer ends. And with your text layers, I think it generally messes up the ability for you to edit text in the future if you expand them to the image size, so don't really do that. So the main principles with this, and the main benefits, is I can easily change any part of this image because this all is a layer. So say I wanted to make this a series, and say this would be number 1. Well, obviously now I've added number 1 here, so then I just go here and hide that, and edit this one, and also add a number 1. And once I've changed that, you'll notice the shadow stays in line, and it works and looks pretty good. And this is because you have a background, which could be your, say, screenshot, and you have the text, which could be, say, your episode number. This will work quite well, if you want to create a series of thumbnails quite easily with, like, minimal edits. So, obviously, because this isn't a series, I'm just going to go back and delete this real quick. And then I'll explain how you export these so that you could actually use them on YouTube. Because right now, obviously, we can't get this on YouTube yet. So now make that visible, it looks good again, and you would click File, Export, and then obviously you can name it whatever you want to name it. So I'm just going to say creating, and sorry if my keyboard clicking is loud, my mic is very sensitive. I'm going to say creating thumbnails, thumbnail. Or you could just say like TN or whatever. You can use your own system for naming, of course. But then if I export this, it's very important what you do next, because if you're doing a series, you want to make sure you can create all the series thumbnails at once, or not at once, but at any time. So that PNG will not have these layers like this does. Only a XCF file, which is basically a Gimp file, has that. So if you want to keep your layers so that you can make new thumbnails for the series in the future, you would just click Save, and you'll notice the extension here is .xcf. So now, for this, I might just say, creating thumbnails, and then I would save it as template. And I think I already did this tutorial once before, so it might have overwrote it. But yeah, basically, those are the ideas, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's helpful in creating them. This was a pretty simple thumbnail, but obviously with gaming and many series on YouTube, you can have much more complex thumbnails that you would do. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Richard out.